Thank you. So, hello everyone. My name is Shonyae, and I'm joined by Nadia, and we are your hosts today for our topic, Fresh Faces and Brainstorming with the Committee. Today, we are going to, one, welcome you back. We had a month off, just time to kind of reflect and rejuvenate ourselves from all of our community conversations that we had last term. And we are excited to have all of you join us again as we continue the mission to address the most critical topics within animal welfare. We have some exciting updates to share with you and some great topics of conversation that we hope you will all be willing to participate in, to join into the chat, and a fun way to join in a little later. So I will go ahead and pass it off to Nadia for our question of the day.
Thanks, Shonyae. So to kick things off, we'll start with a question, sort of a reflection question. So considering that we are past the halfway point of 2024, we'd love to hear from you all. What is something that you are proud of that you have achieved so far? And or what's something that you're looking forward to for the rest of the year? And it could be animal welfare related or something related to your personal life. So please feel free to drop it in the chat. If you want to unmute, you can share for a few moments. But I guess to kick things off, Shonyae, do you have anything that you would like to share?
I'm really excited for this upcoming year as I stepped into a new position. So I get to grow in a new organization, which is exciting. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm excited for our new steering committee. Like I really like the faces and the voices that we are highlighting this year and their specialties and all of the things they bring to the table. So I'm really excited for that diversity. What about you, Nadia? What's something you're looking forward to or very proud of from this past year?
Yeah, I think for me is being part of the steering committee here with the community conversations, but also this year I joined the steering committee for the BIPOC and Animal Wellbeing Collective, and it's been really wonderful to grow that community. So I look forward to continuing that. And looking at the chat, the first one resonates with me a lot. Kitten season slowing down. I spent 6 kitten seasons here in LA working in kitten fostering, and I feel that. Um, Somebody's talking about finishing their new quarantine and ISO rooms. That's exciting. We'll keep the pets healthier in your shelter. Um, Somebody got a grant so they can put ads on Google. That's a great way to get some publicity. I see a lot of things popping in, but I know we don't have a lot of time, so I will not be able to read all of them. But we will be highlighting them in the pet forum. So I think I'm going to pass it back to you, Shonyae, for some grant announcements.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to keep reading these too. These are some great ones. So we have some grant announcements, and I love hearing about how y'all are getting money. So actually, Kelly will take us away and announce our grant winners. So Kelly, are you on?
I am. Hey, Shonyae. Hey, Nadia. How are y'all doing? This is exciting. Oh, can y'all hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I am excited because we are sharing, or I am sharing, the announcement of the June and July giveaway winners. So kind of um, a big one this month. So let me share my screen. All right. And hey, can I get a thumbs up if you can see this? Awesome. Oh, thanks, Nadia. Thanks, Shonyae. All right. Well, let me um, get into this mode. So for June and July, we've got our weekly community conversation winners for June, $2,500 each. We've got Roxanne Fritz of San Mateo County Veterinary Wellness and Brandon Fancy of City of Columbia Animal Services. And for July, $2,500 each, Kelly McCoy, All Kind Animal Initiative, and Claire Russell of the Foster Spot. So woohoo to all of them. And then for our Maddie's Pet Forum giveaway, $3,000. The June winner is Devin Avery of Hart County Animal Shelter. And the July winner is Connie Ash of Mended Paws Sanctuary. So congratulations to all of our winners. I'm going to stop sharing. And if any of our winners are on and want to unmute and say hi real quick, I invite you to do so now.
I'm Lisa. I'm from the Hart County Animal Shelter, actually. Devin is
Lisa.
actually a community representative with us. The $3,000 means a lot. Like getting that grant meant a whole lot to us. Our shelter was established in 2022. We're a county-owned shelter, so we're very small. We get a lot of intake here, like a way more than we should, honestly. This county has a bit of an issue with spaying and neutering and stuff. So working with the community, getting outreach and everything is a whole lot. And we are working to getting a new shelter. This one is not big enough for what we need done. The grant will help us out a lot with getting that set in motion. We do a lot of community work. We have programs where we read with the kids. We have kids come in and hang out with our dogs. They read books because the dogs, they're not going to judge the kids for the reading. And our dogs love company. So we're big on just getting everybody involved with the dogs since we didn't have anything like this for, ever. And it just meant a lot getting it. And I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, well, thank you for all the great work you're doing. We appreciate it. Yeah. Anyone else on?
I'm here, Roxanne Fritz from San Mateo County.
Hey, Roxanne.
Thank you so very much. This means the world to us. Explain a little bit what we do. We have a program within the county of San Mateo County that provides basic veterinary wellness care to pets of the unhoused and those in transitional housing. So we have a veterinarian that goes out to all the shelters and to a lot of the homeless encampments, and we provide exams and vaccinations and flea and tick treatment. But we also have about 1,000 people right now, 1,000 beds in San Mateo County for people that are transitioning from homelessness from the streets into hopefully permanent housing. So we need to new we're also doing some additional outside veterinary care for folks, things that can't be done in the field, like dentals. And we also do things like offer some training for dogs that otherwise would not be welcome in the shelters. All of our shelters are pet friendly and don't have any size or breed restrictions. So, our goal is to keep the pets out of the animal shelters and with the people, and also to help them transition into permanent housing. So we just really are thankful to Maddie's Fund for helping this and to help us continue this mission.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, Roxanne. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right.
I am also here. I don't know if everyone can hear me. But
hi, I see you, Claire. Hi.
Hi. Coming in from Brooklyn. My name is Claire, and I'm with Foster Spot, and I am so, so excited and so deeply grateful for this grant. I am just really in awe of Maddie's Fund, and I tell all of our shelter partners and our foster partners about it. And this grant helps us get one step closer to providing comprehensive, user-friendly, and as absolutely close to free as possible software to provide support for foster programs at every step, from shelters and rescues and the foster caregivers themselves. It's an initiative we're really excited about and helping to democratize technology and really user-friendly software to make everyone's lives easier and to help unleash the full potential of fostering for all, and to kind of bring this nonprofit model to help democratize technology for animal rescue. So I'm really, really grateful, and I'll put my email in the chat in case anyone wants to chat with me about their foster programs. And thanks again. So excited.
Yeah, that's great. Keep up the good work, Claire. All right, and last call. Anyone else here?
Yeah, I'm also on the call. I'm Kelly with All Kind Animal Initiative in Abilene, Texas, and we are in a similar position. We run the county municipality shelter, and we also have a very high intake for the size of our county. So spay and neuter is a big push, but with it being summer months, we're seeing a lot of dogs come in and being in Texas that are heartworm positive. So this grant is going to be huge in helping us to get those dogs treatment before we get them into homes. So we're really, really excited. That's a really expensive treatment, and unfortunately we see it very often here in Texas. So super, super grateful to have some help in getting those dogs treated.
Well, we're super grateful to you too, and great name there, by the way. All right, Shonyae and Nadia, back to you two.
Thank you, everyone, for updating us on how that grant impacts your organizations. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and congratulations. So we are going to move on to national updates. We'll spend just a few minutes here, and to kick us off, I'm going to hand it over to Allison with Maddie's Fund.
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new season here. I am putting in the chat a webcast that's coming up on, if you're interested in learning more about what's new with feline panleukopenia virus. So check out, there's a registration link and a little more information there, and we hope to see you there. Thanks.
Thanks, Allison. Does anybody have any other updates you'd like to share? You can unmute yourself for a minute or so, and you can also drop it in the chat if you don't want to unmute.
Our director just got our check from the mailbox from y'all.
Yay!
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Hi everybody. It's Irene. I'm a senior grant specialist at Maddie's Fund. And for those who are new to the call, I did drop the link to enter to win a grant from Maddie's Fund for joining us live or watching the recordings on demand. So for each month, and we're starting August today. So for this whole month, if you watch live or on demand, please enter to win, and everyone from your organization can enter as well. So it can be like one of our winners today. Thank you.
Thanks, Irene.
Thank you, Irene. All right. Well, if you guys do happen to have some announcements that you do want to make, feel free to post it in the chat, but we will keep this ball rolling so that we can get to our collaboration portion. So really quickly, I am going to give you guys a brief history on the Maddie's community conversation calls, how they started, how they evolved, and then I'll kick it over to Nadia to go ahead and introduce our new steering committee members from this upcoming session, which I'm really excited for. So when the COVID-19 pandemic hit in early 2020, animal sheltering literally transformed overnight. The animal well-being industry saw a shift in processes due to the impact of the pandemic and lockdowns on shelter operations. Along with this thrust forward came collaboration within the animal well-being community as we leaned into one another for support during change. From this, we saw industry leaders found many organizations and individuals were doing amazing work. But it was noticed that through this innovation that frequently blossomed, communities were often operating without real recognition or the ability to share that information. In this, Maddie's came forward and began hosting a weekly Zoom call for animal well-being professionals, and it was spearheaded by Dr. Ellen Jefferson, Kristen Hassan, Dr. Julie Levy, and Bobby Mann. From their inception, these calls have continued to be a collaborative space to share exciting new programs and research, discuss uncomfortable topics, connect with peers in the industry, and so much more. This organization is dedicated to fostering a community of support, innovation, continually adapting to the evolving needs of animal shelters and rescues. In the last 5 years, social justice issues have permeated all aspects of our society, including the animal welfare sector. The murder of George Floyd reignited the Black Lives Matter movement, highlighting violence and racism in policing and leading to widespread solidarity with Black communities. We also witnessed an increase in hate crimes against the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities due to hateful rhetoric surrounding COVID-19. Voting rights and election integrity issues affected marginalized communities nationwide, while xenophobic treatment of Latin migrants at the US-Mexico border came under scrutiny. Additionally, the basic human rights of the LGBTQ+ community, especially trans and non-binary individuals, were weaponized, putting their lives at risk. The pandemic, along with these social justice movements, motivated our industry to reconsider how we partner with the communities and we confront our own biases at the racist roots of our nation and sector. This opened the door to discussions about integrating racial equity, diversity, and inclusion into animal welfare, promoting the well-being of both animals and the people who care for them, in and out of shelters. These essential conversations allowed us to examine how unconscious and conscious biases influence the outcomes, the intake prevention services, and the daily operations of our organizations. And I'll kick it over to Nadia.
Thanks, Shonyae. So the need for diverse perspectives and representation led to the formation of the Community Conversations Steering Committee, which has been devoted to making space for diverse voices and perspectives. The first committee served from 2022 to 2023, and the second committee served from 2023 through 2024. We extend our gratitude to the founders and former committee members for integrating racial equity, diversity, and inclusion with the topics of shelter operations. Making the connection between racial equity and the processes that keep animals in their homes and out of shelters was long overdue. We owe our deepest gratitude to the following individuals who pushed this forward. So from our 2022 to 2023 committee, we want to thank Allison Cardona, Ariel Zhang, Claire Callison, Ed Jamison, Renina McCaskill, and Shannon Martin Roebuck. And from the last committee, 2023 to 2024, we want to thank Lawrence Minnis, Johnny Jenkins, Sheila Danya Kukan, Claire Callison, Renina McCaskill, Shannon Martin Roebuck, Jose Ocaño, myself, Nadia, and Shonyae. We also want to give a special shout out to the Maddie support team, which includes Charlotte Otero, Allison Gibson, Irene Chansawang, and Amber Frywall. Back to you, Shonyae. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you for introducing everyone. Again, we express our gratitude. So we are really excited to introduce to y'all our 2024 to 2025 committee members. So give me just a second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and let me know if you can all see it. 1 second. I'm going to have to navigate this. Are you all able to see that okay?
Looks great.
Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our new steering committee members that will be responsible for hosting and promoting these calls.
Oops, Shonyae, I think it switched over.
No? Is
Yeah,
it back?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
No.
So up first we have me. My name is Shonyae Johnson. I'm currently with the Humane Rescue Alliance as their Director of Virtual Behavior Programs. My specialties include over a decade in animal sheltering, all things shelter behavior, both cat and dog, and I am a certified trainer, behavior programs and creation management, and my no strings attached approach to behavior care and support for our constituents. Next up, we have Dr. Ray Taylor, who comes from Natives in Vet Med, where she is a national advisor, as well as the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine, where she is a professor. Dr. Taylor believes that her specialties are with all animals, from insects to elephants, fish to farm animals, and of course, household pets and exotics. She believes deeply in empowerment through knowledge, collaborative approach, and servant leadership. And when she was studying wildlife in Kenya, she was charged by a hippo, which to me gives her incredible street cred, because who can say that? We also have Christina Lee from Stella Firma Strategies, where she is the founder and principal. Her specialties include strategic advising and project management, over a decade of animal welfare experience with both large and small organizations. She's an applied behavior analyst, canine and feline behavior specialist, and is passionate about elevating and uplifting humans. We have Donnell Randolph, whose organization is Oakland Animal Services, where he is the program's community manager, who specializes in bringing wellness care to families in Oakland. coordinating community-centered events, and bottle feeding puppies, which I think that's awesome. We also have Awun Ukwe Kingbird Bratvolt, who is from the Bemidji State University as the Assistant Professor of Indigenous Sustainability Studies. Her specialties include mobilization of animal volunteer work, acknowledgement of Red Lake Nation's work with animals, and academia and Indigenous environmental studies. And I'll pass it over to Nadia.
Thanks, Shonyae. So I am Nadia Oseguera Ramon. I'm here representing two organizations, so the BIPOC and Animal Wellbeing Collective, as well as my full-time position with UC Davis Correct Shelter Medicine Program. I serve as a steering committee member for the collective, and in my full-time job, I am the California Program Manager. My specialties include kitten care and foster programming, advancing racial equity and animal well-being, reducing barriers to outcomes and intake prevention, and combating burnout while promoting well-being through healing justice and community care. Next slide. And this is my dear friend, Miguel Ruelas, who works for Companions and Animals for Reform and Equity, also known as CARE. He is the Director of Community Animal Care, and his specialties include grassroots organizing and community counseling. He is dedicated to uplifting voices and experiences that are impacted by systemic oppression and violence due to white supremacy. He's also a proud Latinx, queer, trans parent of a smart, beautiful, angelic, chaotic, sweet 6-year-old Ree. Next slide. And we also have Jose Ocaño. He is the founder and CEO at Hatching. His specialties include personal and professional development advising, animal well-being consulting, and he is a compassion seeker and cultivator. Next slide. And now, last but not least, we have Geraldine De Silva. Geraldine has her own consulting firm. So Geraldine De Silva Consulting. She is a human and animal welfare consultant, and her specialties include strategic planning and growth, organizational development, leadership and mentorship, partnerships and collaboration, community development, and access to care initiatives. So if anybody needs a consultant, it seems like she checks all the boxes. And last, actually, this is the last one. I want to give a very special shout out to a former steering committee member who has now joined the Maddie's Fund support team. She's the newest member to Maddie's Fund, Sheila Dania Kukan. So please give us all a round of applause. There's a lot that goes into these calls. And I'm going to hand it back to Shonyae to kick off our next activity, where we are going to open the floor for all of you.
Thank you so much. And we are so excited to have Sheila on board. We definitely missed her in this space. So thank you. So in addition to all of the amazing people who are serving on our steering committees, who bring their own specialties and their own experiences to this platform, each person who attends these weekly calls plays such a contributive role in developing the growth, the innovation, and the value discussions that we have here each week. So we invite you to engage in the chat, unmute yourselves, or engage in our Minty discussion, which is coming up next, to answer questions, to collaborate on the focus areas of where we as a steering committee go next to best serve all of you. So I will actually kick it over to Dr. Ray Taylor, who will take us through.
All right. Welcome, everyone. So we're going to switch over to this interactive session. So feel free to use the device that you're using and switch to a browser window or use a mobile device if you have that available to you. So a couple ways that we're going to have you engage is this QR code you can see, or at the top of every screen, there's going to be a link. So here's a little bit bigger version for everyone. At any point in time, you can come in and out. But as we advance through these questions here, we're going to be able to have some interaction. Again, QR code at any time or on any browser, menti.com, and then this code. Do not worry about the spaces. It's just there so it's easier to remember which numbers to type in, okay? As I advance, if you get lost, it'll advance with you, so feel free to look at the prompts on your screen. It'll tell you to submit or skip to the next slide or complete. All of the instructions are going to be right there for you. If you've got questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. So we're going to practice. So this is the first question. So it should pop up on your device with the same picture that you see here. And you can just hit on the dot that matches your face and you're seeing kind of how it's pulling. We've got a lot of opportunities to interpret the behavior of these cats in these pictures, but really kind of seeing we've got a pretty good spread. I'm not sure what we're going on here. We got to work on our nines and make sure we get them relaxed. So it looks like you guys are getting the hang of it. And thank you for that. You also see here at the bottom of the screen, there's some other points that you can engage if you want to upvote anything, if you want to send us some cats, or give us a like, that we'll be able to see those come across the screen as well. I'm going to switch over to the next one, also a little bit of a practice, but we want to know where you guys are joining from today. It is not quite geographically correct, as you can see, but just focusing on North America, giving you a little bit bigger spread there. We know that we have people that can visit from all over the world, the Americas, Europe, Africa, and the Australia area. So if you happen to be from elsewhere, let us know. But looking like we're getting kind of some spread from West Coast over to East Coast, although I don't have any New Englanders on the phone or any Canadians at the moment. Awesome. I'll give you just a second to respond. In the next couple, I'm going to give you a heads up. We're going to look for some more deeper answers, and there'll be a couple cues. Feel free to look what other people are answering. Feel free to have that chance. But let's move on to one of these first ones. This one's going to be a word cloud. So when you're entering the information into the Menti app, think about 1 to 2 word responses. And as these build, you're going to see other people's answers. If you guys are saying the same things, like if you say behavior, those responses are going to get bigger and bigger in this word cloud as we generate it. So looking through our ideas of what we're making sure that the steering committee is targeting for this community, we want to make sure that we're on the same page with you and that we're addressing the community's desires and concerns. So these questions are really going to help us focus on that and make sure that we're understanding our community as well as we think. So looking like we're starting to see some enlargement of some concepts here: One Health, community engagement, equity in these various forms. Looks like I'm seeing some trends of adoption, fostering, those types of things, and a lot of information about community. So this is wonderful to see this and to share your opinion. So thank you so much for those of you who are here today to be able to do that live. For those of you who are watching the recording in the future, this is not something you're going to be able to contribute to, so to say, in this live web format. But feel free when you're watching it on recordings to put your comments into the Maddie's forum so that we can follow up with those things and capture those thoughts and opinions. In addition, that you'll be able to see these images in the future. So we'll be able to capture this and be able to share it with you just so that you can see the results if you're ever interested in that. I'm going to give you just a couple more seconds here, and we're going to move on to the next kind of question. The next few questions are a little bit of a different format. So they're more a topic of short answer. So those are going to kind of feed through. You may see as people answer it, you'll have the opportunity, if you want to answer more than one, that you'll be able to do that on the next ones. And those are going to be, feel free to use some more words if you need to describe those things. But I'm going to close this here. You guys are doing great. And again, if we miss capturing something here, please feel free to put it in the chat. Okay. Awesome. So what do you find most valuable about these calls, these weekly calls every week, to be able to do that? Sorry, Shonyae, I totally forgot I was going to transfer it over to you and Nadia. So I'm going to let them take over.
You're doing so good. I'm like, I love this.
Continue to cover that. So go ahead, go for it.
You sure? I was like, you could keep going, girl. I'm not going to stop you. So what do you find most valuable about these calls? And as Nadia mentioned, please feel free to post in the chat. If you feel like you have, some comments to add and you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, we do invite you to do so for, if you can keep your response to about 1 or 2 minutes, that way we can let multiple people participate. But we want this to be a collaborative discussion. So feel free to post in the chat and engage with us as much as you do or don't want to. But let's see what we have. We have a lot coming through.
I love the mention of community, support, collaboration. In addition to exchanging best practices and innovative programs, I think the whole purpose is to have a community. So really makes me feel happy that that does reflect on all of y'all.
Yes. And I think there's been so much intention about what goes into everything from the committee to the calls to the topics. And I really want to emphasize and stress that it is because of the feedback that we're getting in spaces like this. Learning more about resources through Maddie's fund. I am a huge fan of Maddie's being able to provide resources for education, but also grants and so many other things and sectors that they have. All right. Okay, Dr. Taylor, I think let's go ahead and jump over to the next question and see what do we have coming up next. I love these pictures.
Yeah. This one, I think this one is yours, right, Shonyae? Or
yeah.
Oh, no, that's
what skills does your organization need to develop further? So this is a good one. I think when we start looking at organizational growth, what skills? Grant writing. Irene, where are you at? Come to the front. Fundraising. Okay. Staff support, diversity. We're seeing a lot of racial equity, representation, and diversity. Foster to adopt programs. Fundraising, grant writing. Okay. Internal communication. That's one that I think is really interesting. It's not something that I see often, but how to communicate internally between departments in the most effective ways. I think that that's a great one as well. Fostering.
I see June has a question about where is spay neuter in future plans. This platform is for us to hear from you all. So, hearing comments like we want to talk more about spay neuter strategies and sustainability, we will make note of that. So the purpose of this exercise is to hear from you all, what you all want from us. So thank you for mentioning that.
I'm seeing data analysis too, and I think that's a really big one. I don't know if your organization is tracking data, if you're just looking to track it more effectively. I know there are wonderful leaders across many organizations that highlight data. I'm not going to name drop because I don't know how they feel about it, but I know some great people. And I'm also seeing like emotional agility, and we work in a field where there's a lot of emotion involved. So being able to navigate that and learn more about emotional regulation and intelligence, I think, is another great topic. We have some great people on our steering committee with some specialties there. So, all right, community outreach, one of my favorite. Always open to have that conversation. All right, you all, let's go ahead and jump to the next question. I love these answers. Keep them coming in.
Should I do this one, Shonyae?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what skills do you personally as an individual want to grow within your personal career? Grant writing, management. I'm seeing a lot of grant writing, so I think we're going to have to do a grant writing 101 talk. I'm just calling it.
I think
Boundaries.
So. That's great.
Yeah. Fundraising, building a resilient team, how to stand up for yourself and advocate for more pay. Yeah, so I think I saw pay equity pop up in the word cloud, so I think that's something that is worth discussing. More knowledge in general, behavioral, medical, treasury. So we have a veterinarian here, Dr. Ray, and a behavior specialist, Shonyae.
And I love in the chat actually, Jory mentioned that they would be happy to, speak on grant writing. So if there is something that you yourself see pop up and you're like, oh, I'm awesome at that. I know how to do that. I can talk about it all day. It wakes me up in the morning. Let us know. Definitely don't hesitate to reach out to any of us and say, hey, I'd be interested in this. And we'd be happy to, highlight the topics that you guys are mentioning that you have a specialty in. So thank you, Jory. And yes, I can talk about behavior all day. So just
yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of about compassion fatigue and self-care, preventing burnout. It's something that we definitely want to keep talking about from different lived experiences and various lenses. Recognizing that most of us here are not mental health professionals, but also acknowledging that our lived experience being in this field does inform a lot of how we take care of ourselves and each other. So again, please, if that's something that you're interested in and want to share about your lived experience, we'd love to hear from you. So it seems like it slowed down a little bit. I think we can move on to the next one. I'll hand it to you, Shonyae.
Great, thank you. I love these photos. How are you and your organization consciously and intentionally implementing diversity initiatives into your day-to-day work? I think this is a great question. And let's see what we have rolling in.
And truly, if you're not, I think it's also okay to say that. This also gives us a sense of where folks are at. And yeah, like there's somebody says we cannot. So
they're struggling. So I think a conversation about how to implement these would be a great conversation for us to have as well.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of incremental change, so I'm never going to be like, you need to do everything at once. But I think usually what is more authentic when we're diving into diversity initiatives is being thoughtful and intentional and taking it slow. Because then if we just throw everything at the wall, it tends to be a little more performative and can end up causing more harm than benefit. So I think a talk about practical incremental steps could also be very beneficial. So if anybody here has gone from like, we simply cannot do this, or it's too difficult to do, to like, now you're doing it, we'd love to hear from you too.
Yes, absolutely. Like I'm seeing mindful hiring. And I love that you pointed out, Nadia, that sometimes it's those, small incremental steps that make the difference in terms of making sure your policies are equitable, and making sure that your hiring practices are also equitable and that they offer equal opportunity, whether that's hiring in from outside or internally growing your staff, making sure that all of those things hold each person a value. So I think that's really important. And I'd also be interested if anyone wants to post in the chat of if you could create something in your organization, even if you aren't doing it now, what would you change? What would you do? I think that's another great conversation to have. But yeah, we are seeing you're all inclusive. People mentioning like their own interactions with others, that they themselves are performing that work just in their interaction. So maybe it's not organization wide. Maybe it's you as an individual that's slowly making those incremental changes. And Maria S. says it also means getting to know your community and the people you serve. You can't make sure everyone's included if you don't know the demographics. I think that's a great point. A lot of times we don't have a good snapshot of what our community looks like because we only see the ones that are coming into our organization. But outside of our organization, it may be a bit different. So I think that's great. All right. And I believe this is our last word cloud, correct, Dr. Taylor? Or is there another one after this?
There's another one after this.
Okay, let's go ahead and jump to the next question.
So you guys have been great about sharing, and we're going to really take that into consideration. And these are some things that we wanted to just break down a little bit more already on the docket that are really important. If you could just vote for your top 3 to help us prioritize that. But it looks like you guys have really mentioned a lot of things that are on here and give us some really granular opportunities beyond the general category here. So we really appreciate that.
Wow.
And I love this like live running up and down.
I'm loving that fundraising, grants, and resources is, I mean, we're seeing that across the board in all of these questions. So you guys are really giving us feedback on where we can focus for this next year. So keep these ideas coming, keep posting in the chat, join us on Maddie's forum to have these conversations because we really want to include all of you. You guys do amazing work. You all do amazing work. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and I think what's great about the steering committee too is we do have folks with expertise in all of these areas who will help, not only inform the calls, but also probably have connections with folks that can cover these topics. But as we said, we'd love to also hear from all of you who are doing the work on the ground. So please, truly recommend yourselves to speak, or let us know if some of your coworkers want to speak. And I will say, I don't think we shared this, that the steering committee has also worked hard to ensure that there's equity with speakers. So there is a stipend that's offered to speakers. So you would not be expected to come, present, and do free labor. So you would be compensated for your time and expertise.
Thank you for sharing the compensation part, Nadia. The steering committees that came before us, and Maddie's team, they did so much work to make sure that the space was as equitable as possible. So I appreciate you highlighting that. And for anyone that may have doubts in their mind of when I step into spaces, especially spaces with such an awesome, amazing steering committee, I can have my own self-doubts of maybe I'm not the right person to be speaking on this, but honestly, please reach out to us. We really love elevating voices of the people that do the work. You don't have to be a leader in the terms of job title. A lot of the work that we see comes from boots on the ground and people doing the actual work. So please do come forward. If you have any hesitations, our steering committee is absolutely amazing about giving feedback and helping people grow. So please don't be afraid of that. Yes, Allison, lived experience is equivalent to a PhD. All right, everyone. So we have about 5 minutes left in our call. Huge thank you to Dr. Taylor for hosting the Minty. I mean, she put it together so quickly for us, included amazing pictures. And her explanation was amazing. I see why you're a professor, because you do great at teaching. So thank you for that. I wanted to open up the floor for if anyone had anything that they wanted to add or questions. Nadia, do you have anything as well?
I was thinking the same thing as you. If anybody wanted to unmute and share a little bit more about any recommendations that you have for us, we'd love to hear from you. And it's good practice for public speaking.
Just want to take a moment to intervene and to say thank you to Shonyae and Nadia for taking on this call and really being our kickoff leaders. It's been amazing to join this team, so thank you so much. Many of you will see there's a poll still running in the background. We really want this to be a very inclusive and very open space. So I really appreciate all the vulnerability and the transparency that you guys have been sharing already today in the answers. I hope that that's also shown some of you that feeling you have in your space. Maybe you're not so alone because that's you're seeing some things that you're probably experiencing alone by yourself or with a tiny team that these other wonderful people across the country are experiencing. So part of that improvement is also for us. So if there's something on the call that you want us to improve, feel free to use that space or comment from that. Otherwise, who else has something to share?
All right, if I ask for people very familiar with shelter work a question. I am a lot newer to this stuff. I've only been into it like 2 years now, and we are a very small shelter with a team of 4 people. So I wanted to ask the input about drop-off boxes. I don't think I like the idea, but I've had multiple people in the community try to suggest it to us, but I'm still kind of opposed, and I wanted to ask experienced shelter people what they thought about it. I know in the chat that makes me feel a bit better because I haven't liked the idea.
I would also say, Lisa, if you want to hop on the Maddie's Pet Forum as well, you can post there. Just because we have about 3 minutes left, and I think this conversation will get a little, it might take a little bit of time, but definitely I recommend posting there where individuals can kind of comment and you can keep that conversation going about experiences with drop-off boxes, if organizations have phased out drop-off boxes, what that kind of looks like going forward. But yeah, I'm calling on the community for if you have any experience with these items to help Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. But I think that is a great question. And I think it also highlights how different organizations all over the country, the world are operating, and hopefully we can get some insights for you.
Yeah. And Lisa, if you also want to drop your email in the chat, if anybody's, I saw there were a couple thoughts about drop-off boxes already. And I also want to invite, I'll put my email in the chat. Those of you who shared that your organization cannot implement diversity initiatives, if you feel safe doing so, I'd like to drop my email in the chat. And if you would feel comfortable sharing a little bit about what those challenges are, we can more directly tailor conversations and presentations to address some of those challenges. So I will put my email in the chat for anyone who wants to reach out.
I'm going to put my email in the chat, and I just really don't like the idea, and any encouragement or what I can tell people when they press about it would be super appreciated.
If I just really briefly, I just wanted to put in a quick plug for the monthly grants, since we talked, grants came up so much in the Menti. And if anyone hasn't ever filled out those grants from being here today, if you haven't seen that page, it takes like literally 20 seconds, and it's an incredible initiative and gift from Maddie's Fund. I mean, I can't tell you, it's like the easiest thing you'll do today. And it's just kind of unheard of, it feels like, in this space to offer something like that. So I just wanted to put in a quick plug because it's like really the easiest thing that you could do. And I'm so grateful for that initiative.
Thank you, Claire. Hopefully your firsthand experience, everyone's like, I got this, I can do this. We are so excited. And thank you, Allison, for posting that in the chat. So with our last minute, I just want to thank you all for coming, for showing up today. As Dr. Taylor said, for being vulnerable and for giving us your lived experiences as professionals and proximate leaders in this space. Thank you to my wonderful co-host Nadia and my wonderful other co-host Dr. Ray Taylor. Thank you to all of the past Maddie's steering committee members, support team members, speakers. If you were on this call, you guys have contributed so much to this space to allow us to do this amazing work. So thank you all, and I hope everyone has an amazing week.
Thank you. Take care.